Hey everyone, we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a book that is usually considered like illegal almost, and I'm going to explain kind of why in certain terms. But we're going to talk about this book and how it can help you actually become successful in a very unconventional way. So the book I'm talking about here is The 48 Laws of Power. It's been known as a really big Machiavellian, power dynamic book. And I don't really condone everything that's in it, obviously, because there's a lot of cunning, different like deceptive tactics that are in it. But I think that it's important for you to read. Because why? Because to be honest, on your journey to success, it's not going to be a smooth sailing road. Not everyone's going to want to cheer for you. Not everyone's going to want to be there for you. And not everyone's going to want to support you. And as a result, you have to definitely keep an eye out for people that are either trying to put you down or maybe be putting you into different situations that are more difficult on purpose or just intentionally not trying to support you, right? And I think this book is really helpful at pointing out a lot of ways in which somebody would do certain things to try to deceive you, to put you behind, to, step on you. And that if you have never had a personal experience of that, it may be very hard for you to even think in that manner and watch out for yourself. Because reality of the situation is the world is not like a pretty amazing place. It's not somewhere where, everybody just wants to help. There are definitely some bad actors out there. And I would rather you spend the time to read this book and at least be kind of over prepared in that sense of being able to recognize when somebody is kind of snaking you or they're just doing things behind your back. So that way you're not naive. You're not just out here thinking that everybody's your friend. And I would rather you be that than be the other way around and just keep on going with this idea that everybody's out there just to help you and it's going to be super kind all the time and not know how to actually recognize that, right? So yeah, this book is obviously super, super controversial, but I think just in my experience of having read it, it's definitely opened my eyes to just a lot of ways in which people try to manipulate other people. And again, I'm not saying that's a good thing to do. I'm saying that it's something that you can use to protect yourself and that a lot of people may try to manipulate you as well. And if you know what they're doing, you can recognize it. Usually it's not going to work. And that's really what we want, right? Obviously, you don't want to harm anybody. You don't want to do anything bad to anybody, but it's just like you need to watch out for yourself too. And I really think this is the best book that just gives your eyes a new perspective on that. And it's something that, you don't need to like follow all these principles and stuff. It's just like you read it, you get an idea of what someone could do potentially, and then you don't have to ever read it again. It's definitely like a one-time read just so you get an idea of how other people can just, manipulate and just mess with you, But I think in today's world, it's so important because a lot of the times, depending on your environment, you may think everything's, all lovey-dovey. And without a second perspective, without a new way of looking at stuff, you will be very content and just think that you're totally fine and safe. And the reality is, the world is definitely a harsh place, and being successful is a very, very hard thing to do already. And to be honest, when you grow and other people see you grow and other people know that they can't grow as well, instead of trying to help you, they more often than not will try to put you down. In fact, I think this is really why you should grow in secret. You really shouldn't try to publicize like how much you're growing. You shouldn't announce your goals to everybody because when you do that, you are telling everybody and the people who see you achieve your goals are actually going to be kind of resentful. And it can lead them to, use some of the things in this book to actually try to step on you and put you behind because they realize that they don't have the potential or they're not going to utilize their own potential, right, to actually better themselves. And instead of wanting to see you get successful, they would rather you stay with where they are and they try to pull you down. So that's a very sad reality. And that's why, to be honest, like flexing and all this kind of common culture now is really a very dangerous thing because you're just attracting a lot of bad attention and you're kind of pulling up your big ego in front of everybody and you're making people feel really terrible. And it's just like, be humble and you're going to save yourself a lot of headache down the road. I think there's a lot of people on social media that can attest to exactly what I'm saying, right? It's like nothing ever good came from just excessively showing off, right? The attention you get may feel worth it in the moment, but the downstream consequences of those actions are going to stay with you forever. And so that's why I just say, be in your own lane, do your own thing, do your work, put your head down, stay quiet about it, and let the results do the talking, right? The results are going to come much, much later. And if you do it this way, there's going to be less people out to get you. There's going to be less people even knowing what you do, right? And then eventually when you get your own success, you can just credit, mainly yourself because there wasn't anybody out there to help you. And you should be very grateful for the fact that you didn't really have to worry about people always trying to pull you down. I think this book is just really, really controversial in today's present day because we like to imagine that everything's amazing, that everybody's nice, that this would never happen. But in the reality is in business, when money gets involved and people start to see, kind of that greed comes out or that just like desire for financial security really gets magnified. And you get into these situations where people are getting scammed, people are getting, just really deeply affected. They're getting backstabbed, all of this stuff, right? They're getting double played. So that's why I think you just really need to be careful with who you trust for sure, right? And for the people you do trust, yeah, trust them wholeheartedly. But just spend a little more time, thinking about like how other people could potentially, like influence you to get what they want. So that way you're just more aware of that. And I think that's my biggest takeaway. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. But if not, I hope you guys like this kind of book series I'm doing. And I'm really just trying to share all the knowledge I've accumulated over the years. And make sure you guys follow and subscribe for more.